Hey, what's up guys? Matt here coming to you from Laidlaw, Harley-Davidson. So we wanted to cover a little bit different video topic than we typically do. So we wanted to make a video today talking to you guys about biker etiquettes, or kind of the faux pas that we see some new bikers do as they're visiting popular riding spots, popular riding destinations where like a lot of bikers congregate. Maybe it's like a hot restaurant or bar, or a really cool ride where a lot of people meet up. And you know, when you get into a parking lot with a lot of congestion, a lot of bikers and things like that, I think sometimes that can create a lot of like anxiety among new riders. And so we wanted to kind of go over some of the do's and the don'ts, and more as like an educational thing where maybe it will help you guys alleviate a little bit of the anxiety with getting out there and going to some of these places and not wanting to look like an idiot when you're out there. And you know, sometimes we see some of these common things that newbies do. We wanted to make a video to kind of show you guys some of the biker faux pas that we see out there to help you maybe avoid some of these common pitfalls we see. So faux pas number one that we're going to cover: do not park too close to someone next to you.
Yo man, you're way too close.
Nah, you can get out.
So when you're coming in, you're looking for a spot, the considerate thing to do is to make sure that there's plenty of room on either side of your bike so that the person next to you can get out okay. And a good rule of thumb to use, if you're sitting next to a bagger, you're parking next to a bagger, you're on a bagger, you need to be able to open up the saddlebag lids without it touching the bike next to you. Or stand up your bike straight up off the kickstand and not hit the bike next to you. You're doing okay. But if the guy can't even stand his bike up without hitting your bike, then you know you're way too close. There's nothing that pisses people off more than someone that parks too close to them and they can't get out.
Douchebag!
Let's see what his problem was.
Faux pas number two, and this is closely related to number one: do not block people into a parking spot.
Cool. It's nice to be blocked in. How the hell am I supposed to get out? I gotta move this guy's bike now.
If you come in and maybe parking is really tight, maybe there's not a whole lot of spots left, there's a lot of people that have the urgency to just park and just double park and block people in. If you do that, in my opinion, you're giving people permission to move your bike for you. I've been in a situation before where I couldn't get my bike out of a spot, and guess what? I'm jumping on people's bikes and I'm moving their bike out of the way. That is the only time where I feel like you're justified in getting on someone else's bike or touching somebody else's bike. So don't block people in. Inevitably, the other person is gonna come out before you, they're gonna need to move their bike, and it's gonna be a bad situation.
Oh, dude, look at that. What's that? Is that Road King?
I think it's electric light.
Man, that was sick, man. Those have got to be like 24-inch bars, man. I want to do bars just like that on my bike.
Check them out.
Take a picture, man. Boars, huh?
Check it out.
Oh, yeah, man. Totally gonna get this. Sick.
Faux pas number three: do not get on someone else's bike. Do not ever sit on somebody else's bike. I've seen this a million times, and I just always think like, wow, the audacity. Someone is actually sitting on someone else's bike without permission. Now, if you have permission, obviously that's a whole different thing, but you cannot just jump on someone else's bike because you want to take a picture on it or you want to feel their handlebars, see how they feel. You got to ask permission. this is not Disneyland. You can't just ride whatever ride you want. The only exception that I already mentioned before is if that person is blocking your bike and you can't get out. In my opinion, that then warrants or justifies you moving somebody else's bike. If that doesn't happen, if they're not blocking your bike, then under no circumstances should you ever touch or move somebody else's bike. Biker faux pas number 4, do not touch other people's bikes. You would think this is common sense, but it's something that I see pretty often actually, especially on really nice paint jobs, which are the paint jobs that you really don't want to touch.
That custom pipe? I don't think that's a sticker.
So if someone has a really nice paint job, look with your eyes, not with your hands. I feel like I'm talking to kids sometimes. Go ahead and look, but when people are like rubbing it and like touching the detail on the paint, there's absolutely no excuse for that. We've actually had certain instances where we had customers come up here with really nice paint jobs and people touched their paint job and the guy actually went after him with legal action and made him pay for a new paint job. So don't touch other people's paint. Like you would think that that's pretty obvious, especially if you've been eating chips or you got your greasy hands or something like that and you're leaving like fingerprints all over somebody else's bike. Don't finger molest somebody else's motorcycle. So faux pas number 5 that we see sometimes is way too much feet dragging and duck walking. Basically what that is, when you're at slow speeds, you're exiting a parking lot or something like that, you're just dragging your feet. It's like landing gear or something like that. At the very, very start of taking off, if you're new and your confidence is low, whatever, go ahead and do it for a second. But when you see people dragging their feet for long extended periods of time, like across the entire parking lot, or walking their feet alongside their bike for like a long time, it just kind of screams newbie. At the end of the day, stay safe. Do what you got to do to not drop your bike and keep your person and your property safe. But at the same time, if you want to do things that are going to help you avoid the appearance of like a guy that just got his first bike or a newbie that people want to stay away from because they don't want him to crash into them or anything, learn how to balance your bike properly. Learn how to train yourself on slow speed maneuvers. Pick up your feet. Put your feet up on the pegs or on the floorboards. Some people would actually argue that if you pick up your feet off the ground, you're actually less likely to get into an accident because you're maintaining more of a balance point. If you use your feet as landing gear and more of a crutch, that's when things can happen because you're not using your body in the proper mechanics of balancing your bike.
Bassani 2-in-1, brother.
can't rev it?
I'd love nothing more for you to rev my bike.
All right, biker faux pas number 6. The guy that just over revs his bike and will not stop revving his bike. Look, guys, the fact of the matter is everyone at biker hangouts have heard loud exhaust before. You don't have anything that everyone hasn't already seen a million times. So the guys that come in and as they're parking, as they're backing up, as they're entering the driveway, they just constantly feel the need to wrap their bike and make as much noise as possible. You're just looking stupid. You're dumb. Nobody cares. Nobody's impressed. Everyone's heard it. You're not doing anything except for creating noise pollution. And believe me, I like the sound of a Harley just as much as the next guy, but when you're continually wrapping it over and over and over as you have the clutch pulled in, you're parking, it's totally unnecessary. Everyone just kind of thinks you're a douchebag, so don't do it. So faux pas number 7, guys, is don't disrespect your helmet. It's kind of the biggest sign of a newbie when you drop your helmet, you don't prop it up properly on your handlebars. A lot of people want to put it on their mirror or something like that. That's cool, that's an acceptable way. But when people drop their helmet off their handlebars or it slides off, hits the concrete, technically the helmet's no longer any good after it hits the ground. Now, I think in a lot of situations where if it doesn't hit very hard, the helmet's just fine. And this doesn't really hurt other people or disrespect other people, and people don't really care. But if you just want to look like a newbie in a hurry, drop your helmet on the ground. Anytime someone's helmet hits the ground and rolls around, or if they move it with their foot on the ground or something like that, that's just the biggest sign of someone who doesn't know what they're doing, really. You want to take care of the equipment that takes care of you, and that's a whole other side note, but take care of your helmet. Make sure your helmet is properly secured. When you got helmets rolling around, or if your helmet falls off your bike and hits the bike next to it or something like that, that can be a bad situation. So secure your helmet properly to your bike, or take your helmet with you.
Is that your bike?
Yeah, that's my bike.
All right, so we're gonna do one more, and this is kind of bonus content for all you guys that have been in the bike scene, the motorcycle scene for a long time. And I just feel like sometimes there's just really cringy stuff that's said to some maybe newer riders or people that don't fit the stereotypical mold of a biker. And guys is coming up to people and just saying super cringy stuff that maybe need to check themselves a little bit. I just think it's a biker faux pas that's probably committed by the other side of the spectrum, the guys that have a lot of experience in the motorcycle world. So this is kind of the flip side of it, and an example of something that we see a lot that just is once again, like I said, a kind of a cringy faux pas that we see some of the veteran bikers saying.
And you rode it here?
Yeah, I rode it here.
Sportster, right? Girl's bike?
Yeah, Dyna Lowrider S.
Did your boyfriend buy it for you?
No, I bought it myself.
That's a lot of power between your legs, huh? I think you're better off on the back seat, don't you think?
No, I don't think that.
Thanks a lot for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to give me a thumbs up and make sure to hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed to the channel yet. We're going to be doing another video that's similar to this one that's going to be more on the etiquette when you're out on the road, riding with groups and things like that. So stay tuned for that one. And if you're looking for a Harley-Davidson in Southern California, make sure you hit us up here at Laidlaw's Harley-Davidson. We'll see you on the next one. Later.
Dude, what the hell? That's my bike or something like that.
Dude, what the hell? That's my bike.
You laughed though.
Okay.
You're a bad actor. Do it again.
I am a bad actor, horrible actor.
Do it.
There's a lot of power between your legs, little lady. He's laughing. He's like, hold on, I'm laughing.
Did your boyfriend buy it for you?
Did your boyfriend buy it for you?
Yes. No, I'm kidding.